Oscar is from San Diego, California. He's been playing for about 3 or 4 years. He's got a question about soloing. There's a couple of different parts to this question, so I'll touch on them real brief, each one of them. But his question is, how do I develop my drum solo technique? I've seen one of your videos where you talk about note values, and it's helped me to develop some flow in my soloing. But there comes moments where I feel my lack of technique pulls me back. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to answer these questions as I get to them, kind of like stoplights on a street. You answered your own question right there. If your technique is pulling you back, then you need to develop your technique. Once you get the foundation down, the whole thing about learning all your note values and stuff, that's more or less learning your alphabet. So now you have to learn how to articulate your words legibly, and that only happens by working on your technique. Where does it go from here? I do understand that my solos won't improve until my technique does, but what exactly is technique and how do I develop it? That's another one of those what's the meaning of life type questions. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole lot to it. It's a simple answer, but there's a lot to it. But basically, man, how you improve your technique is you continue to develop your hands, your fingers, your wrists, your feet, your coordination, all of that stuff is part of your technique. So learning how to play a proper double on the bass drum, you know, learning how to manipulate the hi-hat pedal, you know, working your practice pad like crazy has a lot to do with it. Like the most important thing that you're going to do for as long as you play the drums is develop your hands. The more your hands are developed, the cleaner everything's going to sound on the kit. So there's really no quick fix answer to this. Like there's nothing I can tell you that's going to cause you to be an amazing soloist in 4 months. You know what I mean? What's the next part here? What are some steps that you took to get your hands developed? I have a practice pad, and I practice the classic paradiddles, doubles, singles, 6-stroke roll. Is there anything else you have in mind? And that's the end of his email. No, there's nothing else I have in mind. If those are all that you're working on your practice pad, that's all you need to know. Single stroke, double stroke, single paradiddle. If those are the only 3 rudiments that you know, you're fine. Anything that you do to get around the drums is going to involve just different combinations of singles and doubles. So if that's all you're doing, then you're good. Throw in a couple of flam exercises. You know, if there's one thing that I would probably suggest, is maybe just doing that. Find some cool, just left, right flam exercises where you're sort of, and that helps you to work on things like dynamics and control and stuff like that. Because you got a grace note, you know, right before an accented stroke. Stuff like that really just helps you get your wrists and your fingers in shape. If you can develop a really good flam, that's a bonus. Do you need it? Not really. You can get by without it. But singles, doubles, single paradiddles, flams, any kind of flam exercise, just to get your hands happening. And then your feet, you know, working on your feet, especially that right foot or whatever foot you got playing the bass drum. You know, make sure you develop a decent double stroke. Take your time, you know, just learn the motion and work on that real slow. And then from there, you can start learning how to articulate whatever you're trying to say a lot cleaner. Now, as far as what you say, which is obviously, you know, the other huge part of soloing, you need ideas. You have to get ideas from somewhere, and that's when the watching other drummers and listening to different styles of music and getting into all different kinds of things. That's where you're going to get all of your creative ideas from in the beginning. Because if you've been only playing for 3 or 4 years, you haven't been playing long enough to come up with too many cool ideas just yet, right? So that's why drummers steal stuff from other drummers all the time. The best drummers out there still stealing licks from other drummers. That's just what we do, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's how drummers just kind of evolve and keep the ball rolling. Like, we're always learning stuff from other dudes. So you have to build up your vocabulary so you have enough ideas to draw from, and then you use your technique to sort of present these ideas legibly. So that's the whole, you know, that's the whole secret, I guess, behind soloing. There's really not that much more to it. It's just a continuous cycle. You know what I mean? You get an idea, and then you present it. And then you get another idea, and you present it. If your technique is lacking, it's probably going to sound messy and, you know, fall flat. But the better your hands are developed, the better your feet are developed, the better you're going to end up sounding. So, yeah, it's a lifelong process, man. Like, it's not going to take you 2 weeks to learn how to solo. It's going to take years before you get good at it. Just don't rush it. You know, keep it in the back of your mind. Don't give yourself a deadline on soloing. It's more important that you're able to keep a solid groove for 3 to 4 minutes at a time anyway. So focus on that. And then in the meantime, man, just continue to work on your hands, work on your feet. You know what I'm saying? Again, singles, doubles, single paradiddle, couple of flam exercises. Within a few years, man, you'll be fine. So, yeah, that's really all there is to that. And then watch this channel, of course, for ideas, because I got a bunch of cool ones. Yeah, other than that, man, that's really all there is to it. Will is from Asheville, North Carolina. And he's got a problem with practice space. So he's just saying, I recently moved into a duplex in a pretty busy neighborhood, and it's very negatively impacted my practice routine. It's rough, man. I get it. I'm no longer able to practice with an unmuted drum kit, and I rarely feel comfortable practicing early in the morning or late at night because I fear I'll get the cops called on me. That's only happened to me once in a house that I used to live in several years ago. I thought I was renovating my basement, and so I just set up a snare in my bedroom, was practicing rudiments. I guess one day I had the window open, didn't realize it was 6 in the morning, and lady called the cops on me. What are you gonna do? Anyways, he's just saying I'm slowly paying off tons of college debt from getting a music degree. Congratulations. I've tried putting t-shirts and mutes on my drums and cymbals, but I feel like I'm losing my touch when I practice this way. I'm considering renting a storage unit nearby, but that'll also be a large financial burden, and I'm not sure if they're climate controlled. It's a legitimate concern there too. Any tips would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, man. Well, you've already eliminated 2 of your options, which is fine. I mean, renting a practice space or rehearsal space for practice purposes, it's almost like a last resort. And if you don't have the cash to do it, you know, that can be a little bit of a drag for it to get to that point. Electronic kits are obviously really expensive. I used to use t-shirts on my drums. You know, when I was still living in the same house with my parents many moons ago, I used to just drape t-shirts over, and it seemed to help a little bit. Like, I lightened up on my touch too while they were upstairs watching TV or whatever. But your only real option, man, and a good one to look at, is to try to find some sort of mesh pad option. Now, you do have a couple different options out there to choose from. You may have to invest a little bit of money, but you know, there's cheaper ways to go. Remo has these cool silent stroke heads that you can look into. Those are pretty cool. I think Pearl used to offer some kind of mesh pad thing that they used to do. And then just recently, the RTOM Corporation came out with these really cool black hole practice system. There's a video that I shot not too long ago. Check it out on my channel if you want to see what that's all about. The only disadvantage with that one is right now they're pretty expensive. So you're probably looking anywhere between $250 and $300 for a set of pads for your kit. They're super cool, but you know, they're probably the most expensive option at the moment. But the first thing I would suggest in your situation is checking out those Remo silent stroke mesh heads, because those seem to be really cool. And as far as your cymbals go, Zildjian has these really cool sort of quiet design cymbals that you can get. I can't remember what they call them, but just go on the Zildjian site and check them out. But those two working together would make your kit like super quiet, and you should be able to practice in your duplex with that setup, but it's going to take a little bit of investing to do. So anyways, those are your options. Good luck. Jeff is a 17-year-old from Woburn, which is a suburb of Boston, Massachusetts. He's got a question. As a new drummer, this is totally a new drummer question, so I'm not gonna slag it. My question to you is, how do I stand out? There are thousands of drummers out there playing their fingers off, and they're all great. I'm already pretty creative behind the kit, and I can comp and ghost note all day, but somehow I feel like to be as great as my heroes, my skills are not enough. So yeah, he wants to know how to stand out on the drums. Well, here's the thing, man. The one way to not do it is to try to stand out. You don't have to try to stand out. It just happens. The thing that allows you to stand out, or that makes you stand out, is your personality. So, you know, just continue to work on your technique and, you know, keep your chops up as best as you can. Listen to all kinds of different styles of music. You know what I mean? Get into a bunch of different stuff. Don't rush the process. Just take your time, continue to learn. And, you know, standing out isn't something that you're actually going to have to consciously try to do. Everybody's got their own unique voice. So it's just one of those things, man. You're either going to stand out or you're not. Like, it's not, if you have to try to stand out, you're probably not going to stand out. So that's the only real way to do it, man. It's just, there's no trick to it. It's not something that you're going to have to work at. Just continue to work on your technique, and as you get better and sort of develop your own voice, there are certain things that you're probably going to end up doing that are going to set you apart, you know, from other drummers. That's why there are so many guys out there that you could just tell, like if you were walking past a bar or something, or a club or whatever, and you heard a particular groove or a particular lick, you would know right away who it was, you know. Keith Carlock's that way. Jojo Mayer's got that way. Man, countless. Steve Gadd, obviously, he's got his own thing going on. Dave Weckles got a very distinct sound. There's a lot of drummers out there, man, that's got their own thing. And then there are other guys out there that are phenomenal drummers, but you wouldn't really tell that it's them, you know, unless you actually see them. So yeah, it's just one of those things, man. Don't be concerned with standing out. It's really not the most important aspect of playing. Continue to work on your technique, and as you start to develop your own sound, your own voice, if there's anything unique in there, then people are going to hear it. Thanks for watching. Send your questions to askbeatdown@gmail.com. Try to do this once a week. Like, subscribe, See you next video.